All right, YouTubers, thanks for watching my channel. I'm gonna do a quick video here. This is the second time I did this video, by the way. The first time I did it, I didn't have a microphone plugged in, so that's on me. But welcome to my channel, JDKB Games. You know, I kind of got a variety channel, so I talk about a little bit of everything. But today I want to talk about a DBQ and the value of doing a DBQ, which is a disability benefits questionnaire. And how I use these things is when I get a condition that hits me, or that, you know, my doctors have said, hey man, you got this, or might have this, or whatever, I go and I'll pull up the disability claim for it. And you can get this at, I'll put the link in the description and in the video, but it's benefits.va.gov. And you can list it by symptoms, by form number, but I'm just gonna pull one up. And so when I get this one, let's say if your doctor say you got hyperparathyroidism or any kind of thyroid claim, you would pull up a thyroid and parathyroid DBQ. They got them for all conditions: diabetes, loss of sense of smell or taste. They got them for PTSD, everything. And so what this does is, and understand something, this is not a third party that has these out here, right? This is from the VA, so they're not trying to hide this from you. They actually would prefer that you fill this out, or if you got a doctor that's, you know, on the right track and are willing to fill it out for you, that's even better. But the way I use this is because I've never had a doctor, well, that's not true. I had one doctor who actually was willing to fill this out for me, or I filled it out for him and gave it to him, but that's rare. But what you do with this is every time for any claim that you have, you want to go and fill this out. Put your condition there. You don't have to know the ICD codes and all that, but it's good if you know the date of the diagnosis, because that's going to be important. You'll necessarily have to deal with this if you know it. 1C. The box that's really important is describe the history, the medical history. And this is kind of stuff that you should know. If you write this down in here, again, when I use this, I'm not giving it to the competent doctor. I'm using it for me so that I'm prepared and know what I want to say. So I'll put what I want to say in here, what I know from my records. Because remember, when you go talk to these doctors, they don't have a lot of time for you, and that's, you know, that's not something that they want, you know, to be dealing with. The short time is just that they got a certain amount of time to do, you know, X number of claims, to see X number of people a day. So I've had disability exams last 6 minutes. I mean, I spent more time in the lobby than I did in the doctors. And you'll hear people say that, well, they never even touched me. That's because they're listening for you to show or say certain things. I know that may not sound right, but you know, they're pressed for time. That's the key. They're pressed for time. So if you come in there prepared, know your history, and you put it on here ahead of time and you practice it, when you get there, you just spit it out, you're good to go. I've even, and I don't know if this is good etiquette or not, but I've even taken one of these with me and basically read off of it, you know. And I had one examiner say, you wrote it down? I said, yeah, I got bad memory. I can't remember, you know, everything. So I just write it down. And, you know, she was cool with it, you know. So everything I said in here, that person wrote down. When I got my C file, every word I had said to that person was on the form. Exact. Pretty much word for word, with the exception of a few things that they threw in. And so you just want to go down through here, get this and fill it out as best you can. And you're doing this for you, not necessarily for the doctor. or not necessarily for the examiner. This is so that you can have a better understanding of what you're claiming. Don't worry about the stuff you don't know. I mean, you might not know a lot of the stuff on here. You just want to fill out as much as you can, and then you want to kind of look at what kind of rating you actually are shooting for. And when I say shooting for, based on what your condition is. So like this particular condition, hyperparathyroidism, this website, Military Disability Made Easy, is a good website. What I do is to get to it, I just go ahead and type Military Disability Made Easy, and then if you add whatever the condition is at the end of it, hit enter, and it'll go pretty much to it. And you just kind of look through here and see what you want to look for. So using this example, let's say if you got hyperparathyroidism, and you look through here, and you see conditions that you spoke to your doctor about, or let's say like low vitamin D levels, that's something that this can cause. It's very useful, man, to look in this website right here and in 38 CFR. But it tells you here, let's say if you got a rating of 10%, a rating of 10% is nausea, anorexia, fatigue, or constipation are present despite surgery, or if constant medication is required. That's a 10%. That kind of correlates, it's not exact, but it kind of correlates with 38 CFR. Continuous medication required, 10%. If you got all of these, okay, that's of course is 100%. And it says hyperparathyroidism, if you got all of these, and look right here where it says or peptic ulcer and weakness. So if you just got these, that's 100%. If you just got gastrointestinal symptoms and weakness, which is kind of generic, that's 60%. And then you got continuous medication. This is how you use the book. So when you do your DBQ form, you'll come in here, and let's just use the worst case. Let's say you got all of this. And so what I would do is I would just copy and paste that information into under the point where it says, I think it's in here. It's hyperpara. Now you're gonna paste it. I know it's in here somewhere. I just gotta find it. This one has got so many. The thyroid has so many different areas. I'm just gonna paste it in one of them though. But you would paste it under the one you have. So there's, this says hyperpara, but there's one that says hypoparathyroidism. Which I can't find, but what you do is you find it and you go and you would actually paste that information in there. Okay. And what this does is it gives you an idea of how and what they're going to look for. And you can take this and put it in, some kind of a sentence, like boom. You see, you just put it in a way that makes sense, and you're using words from the regulation that's going to trigger that examiner to say, oh, okay, I get it. And keep in mind too, they're actually evaluating you physically too. I mean, with some of these conditions, there is no physical findings. But that's how you use it. So I don't want to keep dragging this on and on, but whenever you're going to file a claim, I would say always get the disability questionnaire for that claim. Fill it out as best you can. If you got a doctor that's cool with you, I would fill it out and hand it to them. I've done that once. I filled it out as best I can, and I handed it to the doctor with a note. I actually gave it to the nurse. The nurse probably filled it all out, and they gave it back to me a week later, signed. And so, but that's rare. Believe me, that's rare. But anyway, that's how you do it. So get the disability questionnaire. Use this site, Military Disability Made Easy. My boy Andre hooked me up with this. Appreciate that. I didn't know anything about this site. And once he showed me, I've been using it ever since. So appreciate that, Andre. And then you want to go to the regulation 38 CFR and just look through it to find what your rating is. There's nothing wrong with knowing what your rating is before you go get a rating. It's just smart. I mean, you just got to know what's going on with you and how the VA looks at that. And again, this stuff isn't a third party. This is stuff that the VA puts out there. And I'm sure they probably put it out here based on some regulation and legal requirement that, they kind of got to show you and help you with your claim, and this is how they help you. So this is out there for you. I know for a fact the VA would prefer that because when you file a claim, it asks you to turn in any disability questionnaires. I mean, there's no sense in turning in one that you don't get a doctor to fill out, but there's nothing wrong with you filling out yourself to use it to practice and prep for your exam. And if you can get a doctor to fill it out, that's great. But most of them, they don't want to mess with this. I don't understand why, but it is what it is. I had a doctor tell me to pay him $50 and he'll do it. But I mean, I could do it myself. I do it myself, and then when I go in and tell the company pen doctor and hand them my medical records, because your medical records still got to say all this. You're not just putting this down here without the documentation to back it up. You got to have the documentation. I'm not saying just fill out one of these and expect that the VA is going to go, yeah. I mean, now if you get a physician to fill it out and he signed it and say, yeah, you got it, then that's pretty good documentation to say that, let's go. Because it got right here, physician's signature. And it tells them all about, what are the ramifications for lying on this form. So a doctor's not going to fill this out unless you have that. And if you've been talking to your doctor, y'all cool, you can get him to fill it out, great. If not, fill it out, turn in the other medical documentation, and get your ratings. Anyway, that's it for this video. Appreciate everybody watching that watched the videos. I'm really just here to try to help people keep from making the mistakes that I made, because my first disability claim, I wasn't at all lollygag, emotional. I bet you I must have talked for a good 30 minutes. And the whole time I could tell that doctor was ready to get the heck up out of there. And yeah, no, I didn't get that claim approved. So once I learned to be brief and actually prepare for it, good to go. All right, appreciate you watching.